Yeah.
Hello and welcome to LEGO Ideas of the Day. This is a series where we look at my top 10 favorite LEGO idea projects published today. All these projects are trying to earn 10,000 supporters just for a chance to become an official LEGO set. If you see an idea that you really like, go to that project's link in the description and give them support. It will really help them out. Before we begin though, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can always unsubscribe if you change your mind later. Now, on to the projects. The first project today is by SIULIANO, and it is titled Finding Nemo, Dory, and Friends. It is a very creative build that utilizes a lot of characters in a very clever and well-compact build, showing a variety of colors and very creative building techniques. My personal favorite part of the build is actually the mask that they put in. I think it's very clever and, definitely adds to it. If it was just the creatures, it wouldn't work as well, I don't believe. And so I think it's definitely a fantastic addition. And yeah, I'm really hoping for this project. Currently, it is at 51 supporters and is doing really well. The next build is actually made by someone pretty interesting. They go by LEGOOVERWATCH, and they actually release quite a few LEGO idea projects pretty regularly. This just happens to be the latest one that they've done, and it's no doubt going to gain quite a lot of supporters. It's a Japanese-based temple, and the style and aesthetic and everything involved with it is very well executed. They definitely put a lot of time and effort into making a good level of detail to make it more interesting to see. Currently, it's at 58 supporters, and it's definitely going to do really well on ideas. The next project is the Medieval Potions Master's House. Now this build is pretty interesting. It's by LEGOGERI. Builds like these tend to be very popular on LEGO Ideas, so I'm very excited to see how this is going to turn out. It could end up being very successful, which is what I'm hoping for. I really like how they approach designing the roof, and just the overall architecture of the whole build is just very intriguing. Every aspect of it is very fun to see. Currently it's on 13 supporters, and it should hopefully do really well. Now this next build is actually pretty straightforward. It's called the Lantern, and it's by, I believe their name is TERAUMA, and overall the build I think is just pretty interesting. The build is very pleasant to see. It's not just the lantern, it has a really cool stand for it as well. Overall, I'm pretty excited for how it's going to turn out. This project is currently at 39 supporters, and it's definitely going to gain momentum. The fifth project we're going to be looking at is the Motorized Johnny 5. Now this project was created by BRICKBUILDS. It's definitely a very creative build. It has a lot of mechanisms in it that is very fun to see. It's not something you see very often in a LEGO build. Currently it's at 53 supporters, which is really good for how long it's been out, so it should definitely do really well in the future. The next project we're looking at is called the Lego Factory, and it's by CIDADES de BLOCOS, which I believe translates into Block City, so that's pretty cool. The actual build itself is pretty interesting. It's showing the process that the LEGO goes through from factory to in your hand, and it's a nice, really clever idea, I think, for a build. It definitely has a lot going on with it, and it could be very interesting. I'm hoping it does really well on LEGO Ideas. It's definitely a different approach to a LEGO build. It definitely goes out the standard themes that are usually done, but who knows? As of right now, it's at 33 supporters, so it's definitely on its way to the first milestone. The 7th project is called Long John Bicycle, and it's definitely a very unique build. It's by JIMMI-DK, and I've seen a lot of bicycle ideas before, and this one is definitely a unique take on the bicycle. It's so interesting to see in LEGO. It definitely looks unique. I do believe it is a functioning bike, at least from what it looks like, so that's really neat. And yeah, currently it's at 38 supporters, and I'm actually kind of hoping it does really well. Now the 8th project is actually pretty interesting. It's called Art Just to Be Human, and it's by Sebastian97. Usually art pieces sometimes struggle on LEGO ideas, but this one definitely has a very straightforward concept that I think a lot of people can get behind, and it's just done really well. It's very fun to see. I think it's very interesting. It's at 21 supporters and definitely could use support to get it to the first milestone, so let's hope it gets there. The next project is called Anne of Green Gables, which I've actually never heard of this story before. It's by LEGU, and it's apparently their favorite story, and they made a build inspired from that story. Now, I'm not familiar with the story, but the build in itself is actually pretty nice. It's fun to see. I'm actually a really big fan of the trees that they've done. Usually trees are one of my struggles in terms of building. So yeah, overall it's very interesting. It's currently at 24 supporters, so hopefully it gets even higher. The last project we're looking at is by MOCINGBRICK, and it's called Albert E. and the Old Observatory. I hope that's how it's meant to be read. It definitely, as a build, is very interesting. The detailing is very clean. I love the idea of an observatory, especially one that has a really good interior. Especially that telescope that they have, I think is very well done. As of right now, the project's at 22 supporters, and hopefully it's able to reach the first milestone in the first day. Alrighty everyone, thank you for watching to the end of this video. Since you made it this far, consider checking out my project. It just reached 1,400 supporters, and I would greatly appreciate any support you can give, from actually supporting the project to just leaving a comment on your thoughts on it. Also, don't forget to support the projects you like, since your support is the only chance these projects have for becoming real official LEGO sets. And finally, remember to keep on building, and see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.